Are you gaslighting yourself? Many people are able to tell when someone else is gaslighting them, but can you tell when you're the one that's doing it? Yeah. Good morning, world. I am Judy, your web-based therapist, making therapy accessible and convenient for our clients in Florida and New York, and of course sharing information worldwide. Today, I want to take a moment and talk about self-gaslighting, especially when people are in environments where they have had to deal with someone else's gaslighting. A lot of times you become conditioned to do it for them to the point where they don't need to gaslight you anymore because you got this. You do the job for them. So that's why today we're talking about it. But before I get into that, I want to take a quick moment and say, if you are subscribed, thank you so much for being a part of our awesome world. If you're not yet subscribed, please take a moment and click the subscribe button below so you can join all this awesomeness. And remember to tick the bell so you are notified when I post new videos so you don't miss anything. And of course, if you'd like to purchase 1 or 3 of my books, also a link below that will take you to a site that shows you all your different options for where you could get 1 or 3 of my books. All right, let's get to it. The first thing is blaming yourself for everything, or taking the blame for whatever went wrong, regardless of what the situation is. Something broke, some missed appointment, a miscommunication, whatever it is, whatever the issue is, you're always ready to jump in and take responsibility and take the blame. You're always there with an apology. You're always quick with the apology because, you know, it is your fault, right? That's a part of the conditioning, because especially when you've been in an environment where you've had someone else or other people always telling you that it is your fault, you did it, and you're always expected to come up with the apology, to take responsibility, to accept the, you know, that it was your fault for whatever it is, then you just naturally start blaming yourself and taking the blame, and just before anyone else has to put the blame on, gets to put the blame on you, you've already accepted it. 2, minimizing or dismissing your own feelings and needs. Because again, in those situations, you've had, more than likely, you've had people often dismissing or minimizing your feelings, or telling you why your feeling was not as important, what you needed was not as important. There were higher priorities than whatever it is that you needed. So you learned that your feelings, your needs, your whatever were less important. So you start minimizing and you start dismissing your feelings in order to protect the peace, in order to please this other person or these other people, in order to do whatever it is that you've been conditioned to view as more important, to view as a higher priority. You start putting those things above your needs, your feelings, and you start minimizing or dismissing whatever it is that you may feel because, you know, they're not that important, right? Yeah, they are. 3, judging your reactions. When things do happen, because someone did not respect a boundary and your feelings are hurt and you end up saying or doing something, when your needs were not met, you end up having a response, and now you start judging that response. Maybe you overreacted. Maybe you're being too sensitive. Maybe all these other things that says that, you know, it wasn't that bad. Your reaction was way worse than what was done. That is part of gaslighting yourself, because you're saying that your hurt, your feeling, your pain, your experience was less important than whatever was going on with someone else, and because of that, your response, your reaction to what was done to you was not merited. You start judging everything you do because, you know, you're overreacting, just like you've been told. You're being too sensitive, like they've always told you. So it's not about being too sensitive. It's not about overreacting. It's about someone did something and they deserve whatever it is that you did in response. 4, you find yourself justifying or excusing the bad behaviors of other people because you've always known that they were important. Everything about you can wait pretty much. So you start excusing or justifying whatever it is that someone else did. Someone took your food, maybe you shouldn't have left it. Someone did not respect your boundary, maybe your boundary was too strict. Someone hits you, well, maybe you should not have done what made them hit you. It's that deep, where you start whatever negative things, whatever bad behavior the other person gets into, you start coming up with reasons why their behavior was justified. Or maybe they did not mean to say those things that they said about you. Maybe they did not mean to do those things that they did to you. You can always find a way to justify or an excuse to make it that they were right to do whatever it is that they did to you. No, they were not. They were wrong. Finally, you develop and start experiencing negative views of yourself, especially when you've had other people or a specific person around you conditioning and repeating and reminding you of all these negative things about yourself. You start to internalize them. You start to feel that maybe I am this person, maybe I am that, maybe I do this, maybe it's, maybe it is my fault, maybe what, all the negative things that have been said to you, about you, in front of you, or whatever negative conditioning has been done, you start to internalize. So now you don't need other people to tell you or say negative things about you, because it's already in here. You're inside your head, you're already repeating, you're already rehearsing, you're already saying all those things. And then you start developing that negative self-view, which often creates even more space for the more manipulation, because once you've developed the negative self-view, once you've accepted that all these negative things, all these bad things that are said to and about you are right, then you start accepting that the bad behavior, the terrible actions that are inflicted upon you are then correct, because they're a response to your whatever bad things they've conditioned you to believe or accept about yourself. So yeah, none of that is true. So yeah, we're gonna move. We're going to change. So let's do a quick recap of things that tell you that you're probably gaslighting yourself. First, you're blaming yourself for everything, or you're always quick with the apology because you have been conditioned to believe that it's your fault. No, it's not. 2, dismissing or minimizing your feelings and prioritizing the needs and feelings of other people. Your feelings are important. Your feelings matter. If they can't understand that, you need to teach them that. 3, judging your reactions. When you have a response to some negative behavior that was done to you, you start thinking maybe you're being too sensitive or you're overreacting. No, you're not. It's an appropriate response to a bad behavior. Or when you start justifying or excusing other people's bad behaviors because, maybe it was what you did. No, it was not what you did. Their behavior was bad because their behavior was bad. It had nothing to do with you. They were wrong. That negative self-view that gets developed because if enough people say it enough time, or one person says it enough time, you start accepting and you start believing it. So as you start having or hearing their voice repeating those negative things about you, counter it. Find ways to fight it, because none of that is true. It's just what they say to make it easier for them to manipulate you. As always, if you or someone you know happens to be going through something that's more than you can handle, please remember that there are professionals like myself who are available, able, and willing to help, and are even providing remote services who can assist with whatever it is you may have going on. So please figure out who those people are in your community so that if you need to, you can reach out and get the help that you need. And that is all we have for today. Good morning, world. Have an awesome day.